This is a Greek word that best translates as the sense of fulfillment. Achieved through a life that is flourishing in all aspects, including physical well-being, mental wellness, financial stability, morality, ethics, spirituality, and one's ability to form strong relationships. It has always been a state that I always wanted to achieve in life, and I know that you would want to embark on such a journey as well. Now, on this channel I will be able to share with you practical ways on how to actually live a fulfilled life that is disciplined and with self-control. Therefore, stay tuned. Firstly, it's no secret that a great body is equal to a great mind. In the Greek culture, exercising was a huge part of a fulfilling life. Strikingly, half of Plato's dialogues were said to be written in the gymnasium as he and his colleagues were lifting weights and flexing their muscles. We can derive from this that physical wellness is the easiest way to start one's journey in acquiring this flourishing state of being, best described in English as fulfillment, rather than happiness. Have you ever noticed one common thing with ancient gods? They all look chiseled and in incredible physical shape. Apollo, the god of wisdom in all his statues, looks incredibly toned, strong, and very muscular, even though a few bits of him have fallen off over time. You won't find in any of the ancient world a fat or flimsily skinny god, and this was not a coincidence. If one is to take a deep insight into the modern world today, one can see that we have done away with all these beliefs of integrating a great body with thoughts. They often go separately and usually to no benefit whatsoever. Let's take a slight look at life religiously. To live a so-called fulfilled life, one had to wait for the afterlife. It was simply not on the agenda to even think about living wholly on this planet. There is still a slight embarrassment even today, if one is to say I want to embark on a journey of self-development and discovery. It may sound quite arrogant or naive to tell your loved ones that you want to live a satisfying life. This could be understood only in the physical realm, but in other aspects of life it may sound quite ridiculous if one is to say, "Oh, I want to work on my ability to become a more loving or compassionate person." To combine the loss of our healthy physical wellness, you can easily see that a lot of people have lost their minds. People are distracted by all sorts of things, including an excessive use of entertaining technology, drug and alcohol abuse, pornography, and a hedonistic lifestyle which is like drinking salty water. The more you drink, the more you thirst for it. It is a black hole that can never be filled. Rarely do people find even half an hour of self-reflection in a single day, and this has resulted in a long-term loss of focus. I will tell you a perfect example of this. I was a student who graduated with an engineering degree last year, and throughout my time in university and post-graduation I observed a lot of things. Just like many other people around me, it became so clear to me how much focus I had lost. In the last 2 years of completing my university academics, I was almost crawling to the finish line, and this wasn't really like me, as I knew myself as a competent, reliable, and hard-working person in my whole life prior to that moment. It had almost become impossible to put my mind at one thing for little more than half a minute, without getting distracted. I always like to observe my friends, and in many cases in mid-conversation, the temptation to pull out that mobile phone from the pocket is often irresistible. Have we actually gone mad, as beings, I wonder? People go to places such as restaurants, nice villas, overseas holidays just to take nice pictures of themselves, only to post them on social media to get likes from people who do not care about them at all. In exchange, they get a short sensation of dopamine rush that makes them feel slightly worthy for a short moment. It might sound very absurd, but it is ironic that in a world where we are all connected on the web, we have lost the fundamentals of human existence, that is the ability to come together for a common cause, be it in family or friendly groups. The world has never been so lonely, and the ghost of individualism is haunting us big time. The consequences are felt throughout, as depression has become the common word of the day. It is the modern disease the majority suffers from. One might ask themselves, when is this going to end and how? Well, many attempts have been made to stifle this awkward and nagging feeling of low self-esteem and impotence that is stuck on many people like a bad smell. Alcohol and social media addictions, jumping from one relationship to another in a short space of time to look for completeness, or rather a quick fix, have become the norm of the Western civilization. It has become quite chaotic, and people have lost the ability to endure suffering and maintain discipline. Do you ever find yourself in one of these situations? You are not alone, I can guarantee you that. Friedrich Nietzsche, one of the most well-known philosophers, once said, "To live is to suffer, to survive is to find meaning in the suffering." Previous societies have always had something common at the center of them, a god, a monarch to serve, or something to worship. But that has changed dramatically recently, with 37.2% of the British society identifying with no religion in 2022. Where do we start? How do we begin to combat this madness? Firstly, we need to understand the basic state of the mind. The human mind is a flawed machine that requires a lot of understanding each time. Perhaps it may sound harsh to say that we are all mad, in a world where we are told constantly that we are all perfect angels. Madness is a word we can use to illustrate the natural condition of the human mind. Think of an innocent 2-year-old child. Let's say you give them a delicious portion of food, and unintentionally they might angrily chuck it on the floor, cursing at us in their Dunstan baby language, which only they can fully understand themselves. The good thing is that we are incredibly understanding with babies. But unfortunately, most of us grow into adulthood inheriting this kind of madness in us, resulting in crazy manifestations of all sorts. We might, for no apparent reason, shout at our partner or colleagues because of these unextinguished childhood manifestations. In most cases, we are not understood, and quite frankly rarely forgiven for these acts. Mostly the things that actually change our behaviors are actions we are supposed to stop, rather than actions we should actually do. This is quite ironic, as we might think that taking a certain action can deliver us some desired results. Right? For example, if you stop eating junk foods for a week, you have stopped an action that has no advantage to you. You'll have a better feel in your body. You would have stopped putting toxic things in your body, and actually managed to resist the desires of the mind that releases dopamine, which leads to more consumption of junk, and over time leads to a weak body that results in a weak mind. You can see that by rather not taking action, by avoiding ingesting the wrong things into our system, we create a strong foundation to start new and helpful habits in our lives. This is not to say one shouldn't eat, but rather if you stop eating bad food and instead eat nourishing foods, you'll have better results. The more we resist our desires to take in the wrong substances, the more our minds begin to grow stronger. Resisting temptation, of course, requires patience, and in a world with less patience, filled with quick fixes and hacks, there is little room for it. The mind goes through a lot of different emotions that needs to be managed and attended to with great patience. One of the great warriors of ancient Japan, Tokugawa Ieyasu, once said, "There are 7 emotions: joy, anger, anxiety, adoration, grief, fear, and hate, and if a man does not give way to these, he can be called patient." How should one see life in the long term? Also, who defines what we deem as success? These questions are what most people struggle with on a daily basis, and are worth discussing about. In this video we can see that by exploring the ancient way of life from a philosophical perspective, a fit body results in a fit mind. By not falling into the traps of modern life, such as alcoholism and drug abuse, we can be able to conquer our negative sides of the minds. Of course, this is a surface-level video but serves as an introduction to what is going to come. In the next videos, we will discuss how to stop the cycle of social media excessive use, alcohol, and junk food consumptions, pornography, how to build relationships, etc. If you want to learn more about these topics, feel free to subscribe, and if this video was helpful to you, please kindly like it so that it is recommended to others as well. Now, take note, this video was sponsored by a gaming and electronic accessory store, Gritty Gamers Club. They do provide some nice little accessories for gamers, PC users, photographers, and any other electronic device users. Their portable pouch, best used for travel, and organizing devices in one place can help you secure your USB sticks, cables, mouse, chargers, and adapters so that they can't be misplaced. The small pouch is durable and waterproof, therefore your items will be safely stored wherever you are. Most gamers and PC users like me find these useful, as I can remove the hassle of locating my USB sticks and markers. With this pouch, I can store any components that I am not using at that moment, giving me free space to work on. You can easily get yours for a cheap price and free delivery in the UK. The link is in the description. Thank you for watching.